Hello, you are watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I am Lisa, here to do a reading. This is a reading for the month of April. I haven't been doing a lot of readings this year, but doing like a bird's eye view with the readings this year. So I did like an overall reading for the year, and it's all about like reconstruction. And then I've been doing monthly readings that are kind of thematic, and I did like a little bit of extra this month because of the eclipse. So yeah, like the monthly reading for March was something about like, I think it was like fly like an eagle, like getting released from something that was holding one back. And then the eclipse reading that I did was really interesting because it was like this message that came through was something about like, well, there was a lot about like healing generational curses, and there was this whole like truth being shown, and then like there's no going back from it. Like once you see it, you can't unsee it. And like the example that came through in the reading was the one of like Excalibur, where like Arthur pulls the sword out of the stone, and then he knows that he's like destined to be king, and like everyone sees it, and like once he knows that, like you can't turn your back on it, like your destiny has been shown. So pretty wild. So this is like a reading for April. Obviously the solar eclipse is about to happen, so I'm sure I'll do a reading for that too. But yeah, like a lot coming through in this little span of time. So yeah, it's interesting too, like the Excalibur thing, because I had no idea this was going to happen, but like shortly after that message, like, and in the last week or so, like I found out that I actually have like a descendant from like the original samurai. So it's weirdly like, I mean, obviously appropriate to that reading, but it's just like, whoa, that like came out of nowhere, you know. So anyways, that's like a whole other journey, but oh my gosh. Okay, so I just did a split. We got the Five of Wands and we got Judgment. So this is for April. So there's like some judgment that's coming through. Like, I mean, for the eclipse, it was like this truth being shown, and then there's no going back. Like obviously, like once you see it, you can't unsee it. But now there's like judgment being passed on whatever this is, and this is causing like a lot of conflict, which to me suggests that like whoever is being maybe judged in the situation is probably not wanting to accept accountability, or they're just in denial about it, or you know, but whatever. Like this is gonna stir up some controversy and a whole lot of drama. That's kind of what I'm getting. So yeah, when I pull this Judgment card down, we get the Seven of Cups. So it's like the drama, you know. We get the Page of Wands, the Three of Pentacles, the Tower, the Moon, the Devil. Oh my gosh. 10 of Wands and the like Seven of Swords. So basically, like there is like this hidden toxicity, obviously, like it's under the Moon card. So it's like not, it's like peekaboo, like it's trying to like not be out in the open about how freaking evil and toxic it is, but like these lies, which are trying to be upheld by this peekaboo devil, is causing a significant burden. Like this is like so heavy, and like everyone is like so over it and just wants the truth to come out, and like, you know, but whoever it is that's obviously trying to avoid accountability, they don't want the truth to come out. Like they're like perfectly fine with, you know, whatever's been going on. But like it looks like the thing that's going to cause the disruption is there's like some good news about like a foundation. So like it's almost like there's some good news that's coming through that's gonna like create like a stable foundation for somebody, but that is gonna be completely disruptive for whoever it is that's been like peekaboo hiding behind all these lies. Because it's like somebody's ships are coming in, which that was, you know, the ships like were in the harbor in the last reading, but now it's like, nope, like here's the good news, we're moving forward, we've got this solid foundation now, and it's kind of blowing up the whole lie, because it's just like whatever about this stability that's being presented is almost like, it's almost like, obviously the accountability has been getting like, oh my gosh, I just picked it up and we got this. The accountability has been like, obviously going to the wrong person. I mean, that's pretty clear, you know, and it needs to shift, you know, but the way that like this has been supported and happening is like based on this sort of web of lies, you know. And so it's like almost like this person has been trapped under these, with the weight of these lies that somebody else has created. But like that person, like good news is coming in for that person, where they're like getting help, or they're getting like a solid foundation so that they can step out of the web of lies. And then when they do, because this is the person doing all the work, you know, like the person who's getting the shaft. And once they step out of the web of lies, the whole thing is going to come crumbling down, because, you know, it's like if that person's doing all the work and they're finally being recognized and supported in what they need to do. It's interesting because this is like the flag of Switzerland, the neutral. That's when the S is going to hit the fan. So, okay, so underneath the conflict, we have the Page of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, Five of Swords, Justice, and the Chariot. So what I'm getting is like, what story just came through is exactly what I just said. Like, it's like these people are trying to stop this from happening, but it's happening anyways. Like there is this cup of love coming in for this stable Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles energy. This is like the person doing all the work. Like this person like just gets it done, doesn't complain. This is like the solid, independent, stable energy. Finally, they're being recognized. Oh my gosh, this card just went flying. Okay, that's weird. Like the wind just blew this card like halfway across the... Okay, they're finally being recognized for doing all the work, and they're, you know, they've got this solid foundation now. But that's gonna disrupt this injustice that's been happening, because we're bringing injustice in the Chariot. So basically, finally the person that's been doing all the work, it's like everyone sees that they're the one doing all the work. So they're finally getting like credit for what they've been doing, you know, instead of being taken advantage of. And it's like upsetting the apple cart, but it's like it needs to happen, like, because it's been happening for a long time. Well, this card went flying off the deck, like, I mean, the wind came and just blew, and this is like super anxiety. So like obviously this opportunity, this recognition that's coming in for this is gonna be causing someone, probably the peekaboo devil energy, some major anxiety. And you know, this is like, maybe they might be in big trouble, like they might even be going to prison, like, you know, once like all the truth comes out on this nonsense and mess. Like, we shall see. I'm going to go to the mystical shaman. and see what comes through with this. But like, woo, this is like a lot of drama coming through for April. But it's like, there's a reading that's like was like a long time coming. Like this has been coming for a long time, you know, like it needs to happen. Like it's like a long time. Okay, so we got owl and we got the child. So this is like signs and synchronicities. This is messages coming in from the ancestors. Like the ancestors are definitely watching over the situation and trying to like guide it towards, you know, the right direction. And then we have the child. So this is a card of seeing things from a new set of eyes, like a beginner's mind. You know, it's a card of second chances and redemption, and it's a card of like a fresh start. So we are definitely upsetting the apple cart. Like we are seeing things from a totally different set of eyes. Like the whole how we thought it was isn't how it was. It's totally different, and that's okay. That's a good thing. Like I've been finding all this stuff out about my ancestors that's been coming through. Like it definitely feels like they've been like washing over. And like one of the things that we found out, so like my grandma was the one that came from the like basically like noble background. Like there's like nobility, like royal blood, you know, like, and it was on my grandma's side. And so like I found this all out through these, like this crazy set of coincidences. But what's even crazier is that like, so like another thing that we found out that doesn't, you know, that we didn't know is that like my grandma obviously had the bloodline, and that so like actually the family name came from my grandma's side and not my grandpa's side, because like at that time, you know, during the age of the samurai and stuff, they had like clans, you know, which were like, they were kind of like family lines, but like it wasn't exactly, because, you know, obviously there was like a certain power structure that would get like preserved, and these clans would like, they were like I don't know how to say how you would describe it, but they'd have these like clans of samurais that would go and protect people, you know, and so they were kind of familial, but it was bigger than, I mean, it was familial, but it was like also like if you were a really good warrior, like you would be taken into the clan kind of thing, you know, so it wasn't exactly like familial, you know. So anyways, but the whole point was that like my grandma was actually the super like powerful entity, which like I didn't realize like at the time, like growing up, you know. It's like, oh, like my grandma was the royal, like not my, it wasn't the other way around, you know. And then that like makes you see things in like a totally different light when you see that, oh, actually my grandma was like the powerful one, you know. And like, and then, you know, oh! Right after I said that, this gets blown off. The like, my grandma was the powerful one, and then we get this cup of love coming in. Like my grandma's like, that's right, honey, you know. Like, it's kind of windy, but yeah. So anyways, it's just like, oh my gosh, my grandma was like a saint, you know, like in the context of everything else. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, like it totally makes me interpret her actions in a completely different light, but like also it makes me realize like how strong and also how graceful she was, you know. So anyways, that's part of the light being shed on what's going on. But I'm going to the Speaking of Light, Transient Light Tarot, and we'll see what comes through for this. It's really getting windy, like changes in the air, you know. Okay, that's interesting. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Keeper of Vessels. So this is like the Queen of Cups. So there's a lot of Cups energy coming in here. Like there is like all kinds of love coming in on this reading. So we have the Queen of Cups at the bottom, which, you know, it's like interesting how I was just talking about my grandma and all her grace, and like she was totally a Queen of Cups. So like that's interesting. That's at the bottom, like presiding over this. We got the Page of Cups. So like good news, message of love. The Seven of Vessels, so that's like the Seven of Cups. The Ace of Vessels, the Ace of Cups, like a message in the bottle. And then we have the Four of Swords. So this is interesting because I read the Four of Swords kind of differently in this deck. But so basically there's this good news coming in, and it's good, but it's definitely going to shake things up. Like once this news comes in, it's like clear that some shift is happening, but like there's not like immediate clarity on what that shift is gonna be. Like they're sort of like, oh, okay, things are gonna change, like what's gonna happen, you know? And then we get this Ace of Cups, this message in a bottle. Like it's almost like it's coming from far away, like it's coming over the sea, you know, like, but there's like a clear message of love coming in, you know? So there's like, this person has love all around, you know? And then we have the Four of Swords. So this, in the traditional deck, it's kind of like a timeout, like taking a moment of repose to like rest, like, and just sort of rejuvenate. Like it's like an in-between worlds kind of timeout, you know? But in this deck, it's really interesting because we have these three swords in the corner, and then we have one sword with a butterfly on this side. So this kind of speaks to like a Three of Swords kind of reality check happening after this truth comes out. Like this is gonna allow someone to like blossom. Like they're finally gonna be able to move on from this heartbreak and like restructure things in this way that's like more functional. So it's almost like there's definitely this good news that's coming in April. I mean, it's like hearts everywhere. Queen of Hearts, Page of Hearts, you know, the Seven of Hearts, the Ace of Hearts, or, you know, I'm saying cups, but it's like almost like there's like an intervention, you know, like when someone's like in over their head, like obviously there's been this web of lies built around this person, and it's almost like this intervention where all these people are going to come in and try to help this person figure out how to reset things so that they're not being abused, kind of. And like people might be coming from like a long way, but like basically everyone sees that this situation is messed up and needs to change. The ancestors see it, like people from all over the world are seeing it, you know, like everyone around them sees it, and it's just time for it to change, you know. But like the peekaboo devil energy is like so, has kind of made such a mess that like it is gonna be like chaos to disrupt it, but it needs to happen. Like that's kind of the message that's coming through. So okay, so I'm gonna go to Sacred Forest. This is, looks like it's gonna be an interesting April for sure. Let's see what we get through with this. Okay. Yep. Dragonfly spirit, change. And then Mystic Meadow Sanctuary. So that's really interesting because it kind of really sort of reinforces what I was just saying. Like, things are going to change, but it's like this person is like, they are going to have the support and the love all around them so that they can take this time out and figure out, they can take their time and figure out, you know, what they need to do to make things work. It's not going to be like, it's going to be like a gentle adjustment, at least for the person, not the, maybe not for the person who's created the web of lies that everyone's having to sidestep, but like for the person who's been sort of like, who's being released from that. So yeah, it's interesting because the March reading was all about like having to cut yourself loose from something that's been holding you back so that you can fly like an eagle. And so it's like, it's almost like that's gotten called out. And so now April is the like month of like intervention, like when the action and the shift is actually going to sort of transpire, and when the person is actually going to get the support that they need so that they can move forward. When I go to the angels and ancestors, I got Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right, and we got Stargazer, set your sights higher. So like this person obviously deserves better. They deserve better. But you know, there's not really, you don't have to like fight with whoever about it. Like, the truth is just the truth, and that's okay. Like, it just is what it is. Like, you don't have to be right, or rub it in or whatever, you know. It's just going to be so obvious that there's not even going to be any need for the innocent person in this thing to like engage in whatever the drama is. Like, the drama is going to be there, and you'll, I'm sure, watch it transpire, but like, you don't really have to like waste your energy engaging it because you're above it. Like, set your sights higher. Like, this whole conflict is kind of beneath that person. Interesting. Like, when I pull this out at the bottom, we have deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. So that seems very appropriate. And then mirror, who or what is triggering you? So this really looks like a month of like profound healing taking place, and so it's really a month for like self-reflection and, you know, figuring out what's triggering you and working through that, and so that you can leave all of this in the past and just like let it be healed. And that's kind of what we're getting for April. It looks like a really profound month, but like really good month. I mean, ultimately leading towards progress in a good way. So leave it there, and I'll be back for the eclipse.